Hi, welcome back to the Frappe Podcast. I'm Foram, your host, and today I have Kanhaiya with me. He's the co-founder of Indictrans, which has been a company who is our gold partner and has been running for 17 years now. And thank you so much for being on the podcast. How are you feeling?
So first of all, I would like to say thank you. It is a pleasure for me to be a part of this podcast, and especially the podcast which is running by or backed by the Frappe team. And the member who is actually driving this or leading this is again one of the member who was working on the Frappe technologies, Frappe products, and now she is taking care of or leading the podcast. So it is a different experience altogether, and I'm happy to be a part of this.
No, that's very kind of you. Thank you. I'm excited to have you here as well. I think we've worked with Indictrans for a very long time, and Indictrans and Frappe have been running for approximately the same time, which is, I think, super cool. Like, I think 17, 18 years each. And how do you feel about being an entrepreneur for such a long time?
It is quite a long journey. I've gone through various up downs. So every organization have gone usually go through the various ups and downs, and the same happened with me too. We started with a very different mindset altogether. When we started, it was focusing more on the open source. I think that is one of the area which was common when Frappe started and when Indictrans got started. Though we were not knowing each other, we started with a mindset that we would like to help common people, rural people with a localization and GIS. That was the subject, and around that we were exploring various technologies, and we developed many solutions. And over a period of time, we came across ERPNext and Frappe. So, of course, this journey was a journey, and it has gone through various ups and downs, as I said. So, it was not many things I learned. That is what I would say. And each learning gave me some kind of boost that there is something still pending. So, like I usually say, it is still a day one for me. Though we have crossed almost 16, 17 years, but still, whenever I visit office in the morning, I see the challenges every day. I see some happy success stories. I see people coming up with some or the other queries or some of the other points. They come up with their thoughts. So every day I see it is the same thing which I saw 16 years back or 15 years back. But the problems are changing. The things got changed a lot. Situations got changed a lot, and that's why I feel that is giving me some kind of learning, and even it is boosting me that there are many things to go. It is still there is a long way to go, and that is keeping me completely boosting all the time.
Even that thought that it's still day one requires so much motivation. How do you keep up with that? And how do you stay hungry to grow after all these years?
So the most important asset while running any organization or while running any family per se, it is all about the people. And the good thing is, since day one, I am surrounded with the people who are really an asset for me. So they usually push me. They usually put me into such situation where I have to think, rethink, and come up with some thoughts that how we are going to grow, how we are going to move ahead. And so that motivation usually I get in the form of some reinforcement or in the sum of some push from my teammates, from my colleagues, and most important, the my partner Gupteshwar Joshi, who is with me since day one, or rather before starting this, we were college mates. So the kind of patience he is having, that patience and that cool attitude, is pushing me that I think there is someone beside me who is going to help me, and both of us are going to reach out to some goal. We will uh, achieve those goals, provided if we have those people surrounded by me. And most important, whatever we are doing, it is getting appreciated by the people. I mean to say the customers. Finally, what we are doing is for the customers are the main people for whom we are living today. So they really appreciate our work. They really appreciate our culture which we have built in last 16 years. So that keeps me boosting. At the same time, the kind of friend circle and social circle I have, they keep me motivated by whatever I am doing. They really liked it, and they all the time they show some kind of positive attitude, and which helps me to keep moving all the time.
This, first of all, it's a dream, right? To start a business with your college friend and have it going for so long. Like, I remember me and my college friends just saying that, we should do something together. And you've actually done it. And it must be such a cool feeling to know that you have someone who can support you, who is always around you. And, who you can rely on for everything, business and personal, I'm guessing.
I've been to Mumbai first time for doing some internship project as a part of college curriculum. So when I spent 30-45 days here in Mumbai, so the kind of aura, the kind of energy, and the kind of momentum I saw in Mumbai, I think that kicked me. And that day I had a thought that one fine day I am going to start my own. And so I went back. I was not knowing that I am going to start with my colleague only, and the Gupteshwar with Gupteshwar only. But the things I think started falling in place in such a way that even he came to Mumbai after he got passed out, and we worked together on many things in the form of exploration, in the form of doing something on the open source tech stack. And I think one day we got an opportunity that I think this is the right time, I think we should start. And so since that day and today we are together, having a very equal thought process, having a very sync in the frequencies, whatever we feel, whatever we say, and we get backed by him usually. And whatever he think, I usually push him for that. So that is how things are going well now.
No, that's great. But was entrepreneurship always in the plan?
So it was there, but frankly saying, I was not aware how usually the company runs, how usually the company could be started. So that idea I was not having, and to get that idea and to understand how usually the company starts and how it could be maintained or sustained, how it could be run. For that, I have spent initial few years in Mumbai. So I got some idea, but still, as I said, it's still day one. That day we learned few things on that basis we started. Today we are learning a few more new things, and on that basis we are running it and keep moving ourselves. So yes, the goals are quite high, but let's see when we are going to be there.
And you're actually an engineer. You never thought of pursuing that?
No, I never thought. That I will be a part of some organization in the form of where I am going to serve them. I don't know whether I am really having that kind of mindset or not, but I was having clearly thought that I will start my own, and I don't know in what kind of company it could be, but I was having a very clear thought that I will start, but when and how, that was not knowing.
Yeah, I think some people are just meant to be entrepreneurs. Like, they know, they have that feeling inside them, and that's enough for most people.
Somewhere the kind of support I got from my family too, they are from again from the family business, having a retail and wholesale kirana shop, and I think it was in part and parcel, it was a part of our DNA, and I think that helped me, or rather pushed me to start.
Yeah, I think you must have seen your parents like run the shop, run the business, and that must have helped you learn,
Yeah.
in the early years about it.
Correct. They pushed me a lot to be a part of that business, but somehow I was not getting that cool intent, or rather that happiness. So I moved out and started something separate,
So
something new.
tell me the actual story of how Indictrans started.
We were part of some informal group. The name of group was Indictrans only, and the people like me were working in a lab. It was an informal lab mentored by Professor Jitendra Shah, who was a professor in IIT Mumbai, and we were working on making technology Indian language enabled, and that was a social cause. So we used to take a computer in a car, and we used to teach our villagers how to use computer in their own language. So we converted many of us the open source softwares into a Indian language, right, from Marathi, Gujarati, Hindi, Bengali, and we started teaching them how to use a computer. So computer literacy we tried to build around that. So so while doing this, it came a thought, why not to build something for themselves, and push it to a public sector. And for that, the tool is, or the vehicle is, a government. So let's do something for the government. But how? We were not clear. So we started building some tools. We started building some softwares. We provided it to a government also, Maharashtra government, and it was a good success.
What kind of software was it?
So it was the initially we did a voter list search engine in
Okay.
Indian language, and that was a very tricky part in those days in 2005 6 kind of. And even those times we tried to build something on geographical information system GIS. It was a very new subject altogether in India. So we built some tools, we built some softwares, and given it to the government, and they used it for some cause or some purpose. So that time we thought, I think, why not to have our own organization, a company, and let's offer this as a solution to customers.
Okay, so to like not just governments, to individual. Yeah.
Not to the individual, again a government, but in a different department altogether. So we started doing, so that time we got one opportunity in Pune, and they called us that they were looking for a set of people who is having clear mindset and thought process on the open source technology. They were not looking for something on the closed source or proprietary software. So they saw our name on social media, not on social media but on the web, and they called us. So we moved from Mumbai to Pune, and we did that project under their governance for 6 months.
So you were already familiar with open source? You had worked with it before?
Yeah. So since college days, we were trying to explore something new.
Okay.
And I think open source software is where we are getting to do something hands-on on our own. It was not restrictive to us. So we had some experiences in the past, in the college days. Then we moved to Pune. We did that project for, I think it was for municipal corporation there. And after that, we got an opportunity that I think we should start on our own. So we got a project from some government department, and we took that as a project to start our own company. So we registered our organization as a private limited organization, and we
You
named
called it the same thing.
Yeah. So again, another story for how Indictrans. So earlier it was a Indictrans informal group. So when we visited to register office to register our organization name, so they said Indictrans is somewhat related to India. So you can't register that, and for that you need to pay more. There was some fees related to as it was related to India.
Oh.
So and it was self-funded or bootstrap rather. So we thought, why to spend money on name? Let's suggest whatever you feel. So he suggested let's put some prefix or suffix before Indictrans or after Indictrans. So we suggested new, the, and I think tech. So they said we are going with new. So we said fine, let's
New
do
Indictrans,
the.
yeah.
So since that day it is New Indictrans Technologies Private Limited. And so that was the day where we started with the offerings to the government sector specifically in the GIS and localization.
And you were never involved in the tech side of it? You were just involved in the selling side of it, right?
No. So since day one I was a tech guy.
Okay.
I was doing a coding, running configuring softwares and tools, preparing libraries, using open source libraries to generate something new. But when we started, while running an organization, I learned that time there is a need of 3 pillars, the important 3 factors. So one is a sales. Someone needs to sell.
Yeah, the
So
software.
if you are running an organization, then whatever you are offering, you need to sell that. So you should have no one outsider can do that. So one is the owner itself has to have that capabilities and expertise. Second is managing a finance. So again, both of us were not from the finance background. And third is all about what you are offering. So there is a need of some technology. So both of us were the tech guy. So I decided you continue with the tech to Gupteshwar, and he was more inclined towards the tech side. And I took a decision that I need to get into the sales. So slowly, gradually, I started learning how sales usually happens, or how the business development needs to be taken care. So I learned, and it is purely a field game rather. So I did that, and I am doing it currently.
Was there any difficulty that you face in learning about the sales part of things?
Yeah, so sales is all about convincing what you are selling or what you are offering to the customer. So and I was very reserved kind of guy, very introvert. So and communication plays a very critical role in the sales. So I think that was a initial period where I had to open up forcefully,
Become an extrovert.
extrovert, start pushing myself to talk. Whatever comes in your mind, let's talk. Let's put up in front of people. And I started attending various events, conferences, and even I tried applying. How can I come on a stage and say something? I think that gave me some push, and Frappeverse or the ERPNext conference is one of that platform where I got some idea how to speak or how to position ourselves. And the best part of Frappe team is that they create or they put up everything into a story format, and that is a good learning I got. Though I am not that expert, but still I am trying my best to position ourselves in the form of stories.
Yeah, and it has worked out very well. I think like last Frappe was you gave a few talks.
Yeah,
and
usually I try to make it, but I don't know how it was.
No, it was
but
great.
according to me, it was good.
It was great. It was great. And I think, and they want to hear from you and what work Indictrans is doing. So it's pretty cool.
That's good. That's good to hear.
So in the first few years of being an entrepreneur, was there any financial pressure? Because the first few years are crucial.
More than 50%, 70% company gets closed in first year itself.
Right.
The remaining moves to till third year, and another 50%, the remaining out of that 50% closed in the third year, and then it happens in the seventh year. This is what the theory I learned.
Okay.
So our target was to sustain it
7 years.
at least 7 years, and once we cross the 10th year, then there is no death. So our aim was to keep running it in whatever format, in whatever shapes, and have a consistent and some patience. So patience is what I am very impatient guy. I was very impatient guy. Currently I have learned how to be a patient and keep calmness, and that calmness I usually learn from my partner itself. So there are many ups and downs we have seen. So I think every and it happens in every organization, I feel. So every 3 to 4 years we saw there was a very financial breakdown, and it was very difficult to sustain. So it happened thrice in our overall 17 years, 16 years, that we closed down everything and we moved back to a zero.
Okay.
It happened thrice, but everything was bootstrap, so self-funded rather. We never took any investment from outside. So at least that pressure was not there. But
That you have to pay someone back,
yeah. But the kind of pressure it was having, because we were maintaining a life of few families. When we first closed down that time, I think we were having 17 members. Then later on, it was 30 members. So it was very, very tough to take such kind of decisions and harsh decisions and hard decisions. But fortunately, we helped everyone to get a new job wherever and whenever possible in our network and in our support, in our overall social group. I think that that is how our culture built in such a way that people really support us in a good time and even in a bad time.
Because you supported them back, right? And you also got up back on your feet after.
Yeah, so knowingly, unknowingly, it is we are getting that support might be from those peoples. Though those peoples are not there who were with us in the initial days, but I think that culture gives that kind of feel to the current team, and they really support us in all possible formats.
So the first time that you went back to zero, how did you make the choice between going ahead and stopping?
So the intent was very clear that we are not going to close down and go back to the job.
Okay.
That was very clear.
No matter what.
No matter what. Good thing was I was not having a financial pressure from my family. So it was not that I had to earn something and give back to my family. So they were not depending on me. So that was a good thing. And that pressure was not there, due to which it was just about maintaining myself, having arrangement for myself. And that I did it in the Mumbai and Pune in the initial days. So we went back to zero. We went back to our old garage again, and both of us, we started from zero. Again, we thought, I think let's have some different offerings. Let's start with something. So one by one again, we moved to so that time the speed was at least double while increasing a team or while onboarding a customers. And we were having learning of past failures. So that helped us a lot.
It also shows an incredible amount of resilience from you, like to keep going. I would not expect it out of, I think, most people in the world, right? Because it's easy to give up. That's the easy road, right?
That's the easy road.
You have seen that it's not working out, so you have that also that it's not working out. But you're like, no matter what, we'll keep going.
Yeah, and every time I feel if I see my past, I have chosen a hard path all the time. Though there was a easy ways, but the plan was clear that I have to start my own and maintain this, sustain in this, and reach out to some goal. So those goals are quite far, but I feel one fine day we will be there. So that I think that intent, positive intent is there. So I think it is going to happen one fine day. Let's
Yeah,
see.
and even if you see from where you started versus now, like 75 people on your team, that must be such a cool feeling.
Yes, so good team size currently. We would like to scale up more. Planning to have some good geographical presence in different countries. So we are working on that. Let's see how it goes. But yes, we are getting a good support from the overall ecosystem too. And one positive thing which I did, or rather that was a decision, a hard decision, but that we took couple of years back, that focus on one offering or one tech stack rather than spreading out on too many things. So earlier we used to have our own offerings in terms of government or products, the products for the government, smart cities. So we closed down everything and we just work on ERPNext and Frappe right now. So I think, and there is a huge potential. It is not just I am saying good, that means there is everything good or a very rosy picture outside. That is not the case. Overall, there is a huge potential, and the kind of product on which we are banking, it's tremendous good. And there is no competition in terms of that quality level, that kind of quality in the product, and even in a framework there is no competition in terms of the open source overall ecosystem. So I feel there is a huge potential. Now it is up to us how we grab that, and how systematically we grab that. And one more thing which I learned from Rishabh, or rather your culture, let's make it organically, rather than just pumping up some money, pushing up some funds. You might see some inclination, but that will retain or remain for some time, and one fine day again you will come back to zero. So let's do whatever. If it is going to take time, that's fine. That is how might be the life of our organization. But let's do organically, and whatever we are going to earn or we see, that is, then in that case we can expect that it will be for a longer period.
And how did you get introduced to ERPNext or Frappe in the first place?
That was a very critical step we saw in the past. So the first time when we closed down, or rather zeroed down, that was due to our offerings, and our offerings was completely dependent on the public sectors, government. And while dealing with the government, sustaining a smaller organization or startup, it was very difficult to manage the cash flows. While dealing with the government, while for getting a purchase order, that itself is a
Big
I mean to say, onboarding a customer itself is a big task. It is time consuming. After that, executing a project and then getting a payment against that, it is a very long cycle. And sustaining in that, for that long duration, there is a need of ample of funds. So I think that was the first learning we got, that we need to balance out with offerings in the private sector. So we were just vouching for some good tool or some offering which we can offer to the private sector, and we never worked with private sector. Unfortunately, we were not having any experience altogether. Since college days, we never interacted with the private sectors too. So we started slowly, gradually with the ERPNext. We were attending many open source conferences. So we attended FOSS.in Bangalore, and that time we came across a talk of related to ERPNext. I think Rishabh was giving that, and that time we came across ERPNext. So we started exploring that. It was not a thought that we are going to offer these only. And I think we met Rishabh, and Rishabh gave us some support assignment of Mumbai-based customer. A good thing is that customer is still with us since
wow,
that day.
yeah.
So it is almost 15 years now, 14 years. So since that time, that customer is with us. So we started with a support project. We onboarded one guy. I think Rishabh and team, I think Umer, helped us to learn ERPNext, and that time it was a web notes framework. It was not even a ERPNext.
Yeah, we've changed a lot of names.
Yeah. Frappe was nowhere that time.
Yeah.
So I think we started with that, and eventually we started getting a feeling that I think this is the one way or vehicle. I think with the help of we can get an entry into a private sector, and slowly I think in next couple of years we started offering these as a services into the market.
Like, even though the product was really new, like,
It was very new and it was
Yeah.
very focused to some specifics area. It was not a general ERP.
right.
It was just specific to some segment. And so we started with some customizations, some small projects, some small assignments. We onboarded few customers, and that is how we got an entry into a private sector. So it was a revenue in the next couple of years. We found that our revenue of private sector and government sector was coming equally. It's kind of 50-50. So that time we got a confidence that I think this is the right thing. Let's scale up on this part. Let's focus on this. And we continued both the things for a few years more.
And was open source a part of a decision?
Yeah, that was very clear that we are not going to get into any proprietary offerings, any proprietary tools or license-based softwares. That was very clear.
I
And
think
that was
it
a
adds a
teaching
layer of,
from my, and that was a teaching from my mentor also. So we were against the Microsoft that time. We attended many talks. We even preached open source in various colleges and general events.
I think one of the most interesting parts is that Indictrans and Frappe is the same, years old. So how has it been growing with the company? Because first of all, belief in the product, that this is the product that will grow with us, and you selling it to your customers, versus like as two companies just growing together. You all must have been like close as companies and founders, right?
So first of all, I was not knowing that Frappe started in the same duration when we started. That I got to know in the recent time, I think for 5-7 years back.
Oh.
Yes. And that again, so we started when we got into a full ERPNext offering or the Frappe tech based offerings. We saw what we are doing. Though we were into pure services, and Frappe was into a services come product. So they were developing their own product and they were offering to the customers also.
Right.
And we were just part of one of the ecosystem
Of distribution.
it was
yeah.
not a partner even. That time there was no partner ecosystem as such, and there was no partner mechanism too. But we were just part of ERPNext ecosystem as a form of consumer, and even as a form of where we can sell this to as a offering to someone else. So while doing so, we saw the kind of the way people were dealing in Frappe. That was a very good learning me and my team got. And it was not a too formal or too I would say hierarchical driven organization. Everything was very instant decisions, and those decisions needs to be taken care for till it gets sustained or till it becomes a part of your overall organization. So we got many learnings from the overall culture which you built, and we started resonating that in our organization. In might be not directly, but indirectly, that was getting into our body languages, and we started pushing that in our processes too, in our organizations too. And that happened simultaneously along with me and my partner both. But it was not an intentional decision. It was just by the way it was happening.
Okay.
And but somewhere we were quite hesitating to work on this, because we were finding that Frappe is our competitor, because they were implementing and even we were offering this to our customers. So is it a good idea to bang on that vehicle and build our own organization? So that hesitation was there. But one fine day when it was so two things happened. One is Ume took a stand to have some partner ecosystem, and that partner ecosystem, we were the one of the early bird in that partner, and we
One of the
became
earliest ones, I'm guessing.
yes.
Yeah.
yes. So that is one thing. And second change or rather second action or decision which was taken by the Frappe is, let's not get into the implementation, come out of the services and focus on the product. So that was your expertise, your forte, and we feel product development design is not our expertise. our expertise into services, let's focus on the services. So earlier we used to do the product development on some other tech stack. So we completely stopped that because it was not giving us so better outcome than the services. So we continued with the services, and Frappe continued with the product journey.
That was a good decision. I mean,
Yes,
like
yes,
everybody
yes.
has their own place in the ecosystem, and like if you're good at this, we'll do this. If you're good at this, you all will do this. And there are so many companies now thriving, like partners as well, who are like having a great time implementing and providing services for Frappe.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is how it is going on. In these last 3 years, I am seeing the partner ecosystem has built a lot. I think more than 200 plus partners are there, and even the product has reached to a greater heights. The kind of product it was a few years back, and now there is a huge, tremendous change, 360-degree change, I will say. And earlier, the majority of customer which I was observing from the outside India, at least there was some awareness. But domestic market, specifically India, was not having any idea about what is ERPNext, what is Frappe. But in this recent few years, we saw people started recognizing there is something ERPNext, there is some Frappe, and that is giving us a edge and even to the product.
Tell me about your first ERP implementation.
So the first customer, as I said, we got from Frappe itself. It was a Knight Frank. They were into. It is a UK-based organization, but having a office in Mumbai. So there was some solution developed by Rushabh and team, and our part was to maintain that and do the some enhancements. So that was our first customer in terms of maintenance. Later on, we got a customer from Nairobi, where I remember the guy name. He was they were with us for almost 4-5 years, and that was our first customer, and where we implemented and customized a solution for them, and we maintained them for almost 4-5 years. So that was our first customers.
And did that help in that mindset change that you had to take that leap to be like, this will work out for us?
Yes. And one more area due to which we got a cake is that we got from the overseas. It was not a domestic customer. So we thought, I think this is a good idea. This is a good tool on which we can bank, where we are getting entry into the private sector. At the same time, there is a possibility that we might get entry into the overseas market.
Right.
So when we started seeing the USD transaction, that was a wow feeling for us.
Like
which
the
we
faith
never
that it's
thought of.
bigger than just, local.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Makes sense. So your connection to Frappe was there because you were attending all these open source conferences. But why did you choose specifically ERPNext and not any other open source or ERP products?
So when we exploring some framework or tool on which we can bang and get entry into the private sector, we explored couple of frameworks and products. So one is of course the ERPNext. It was WebNotes that time. Then we explored the Open Bravo. And I think Odoo, it was known as Open Source ERP, I think that was the name. So this couple of framework we explored, and we found one thing is ERPNext having a age compared to other. It was continuously into a development side. There was some improvements happening, some changes happening on ongoing basis. Second, it was looking very simple. And third, the team is based out of Mumbai itself. And we were knowing that guy who developed this, so Rushabh. So I think that gave us some confidence that let's take a chance on ERPNext rather than those. Though we continued with Open Bravo and ERPNext for a while, and we found whatever is feasible, not feasible in Open Bravo, that was getting feasible in ERPNext. And so we dropped that idea to continue the Open Bravo, and we continued with the ERPNext.
You chose because you knew Rushabh was developing it, and the familiarity factor works so much better. I think that's why so many businesses and our partners also get so many more customers from word of mouth. Because they're like, if someone tells you something is good, then you're bound to be like, I will check this out first.
Correct. And ERP is such a domain where instead of general marketing, the word of mouth and the references or the close connects plays a very critical role than general if you search out for a product on web and you are getting some name. So that is how I think that good connects, word of mouth and some references helped us to get initial customers on the ERPNext.
So of course a 17-year journey does not come without its own set of roller coasters. How would you deal with that? What has been your biggest or what has been your deepest challenge?
So when we started banging on ERPNext as one of the vehicle to get into the private sector and run our own business, one area which was slightly uh, pushing us on the back foot, we were acting as a partners or some kind of service providers, and there was no place for the service providers in the ecosystem. There was no formal engagement per se. Majority of thoughts or discussions and even the talks were happening on the contribution part. Of course, this being an open source product, contribution is the key. Unless and until we develop that product and contribute, someone is going to contribute, you can't use it. So we were rather than consumer, we were acting as a player who can spread out about the ERP Next and offer these as a services to the customers. So we were not getting any kind of age or importance or rather value in the overall ecosystem. That time it was not a full-fledged ecosystem per se. Everyone was having on their own, running on their own. But slowly the changes we started seeing, I think Umair, as I mentioned, Umair has took a stand, or rather Umair has designed that overall partner program. It was very tough for him. I saw that he tried a couple of times and it failed, and the desired results he were not seeing. And the kind of support I think he got from Rushabh, and that partner ecosystem evolved a lot in last few years. So that was a one major hustle we were having. And but when we see that there is something is happening on this front and it is going to be valued in the overall ecosystem, so that time we got some boost that I think we are on the right direction and banging on right vehicle.
Yeah, like we discussed, like it's a good thing that Frappe decided to do just development and partners do just implementations.
Correct. And one more, I remember I was having some informal, some general discussion with Rushabh in his office, and we were having a tea or coffee along with few more members from the Frappe. So that time, Frappe was offering a services plus the product development, of course, and he thought, in general, he said, I think we should come up with some hosting. And we never thought that hosting, what he thought of, is nothing but the Frappe
Frappe
Cloud.
Cloud.
So something was going on his mind, and he was generally discussing this, that I think we should offer this on some cloud. And I think in next couple of months, he was saying that whether he will get a buy-in from internal team or not, that is a question. But this is what I'm thinking. And I think in next few months, there was something related to Frappe Cloud came into a picture.
Central, basically. Frappe Central, yeah.
Correct. And that time I think that was really a great decision, because now the Frappe is profitable and having some business model in mind due to that cloud
100%.
offering.
Yeah, I had a podcast episode with Aditya also, and he was telling us the whole story of Frappe Cloud.
Right,
It was pretty
he
cool,
was the
yeah.
main driver or leading that from the front, and he got a very good support and motivation from Rushabh and team. So yes, it was, I think, good and big decision he took, and I think it is working out really very well. So these two changes we saw in the recent time, and that was a good decision, really. It happened.
And like, let me flip the question a little. What has been a pressure that wasn't there back then but is there now?
So now the pressure I see, we being into a service industry, services works in a very thin margin. So there are many organizations which I saw some cases or some case studies of organization who became a big in the service industry by offering some ERP services or some other services. They become quite big, and in one fine day immediately they shut down everything. So growing big and closing is very very tough, and is not an easy thing into a service industry. That's what I feel. So I am bit struggling as of now how we can scale up organically. I don't want to just pump in some money and market everything, get into a different geographies, having a multiple offices and multiple team, and just push for the services.
Yeah, that might be temporary. Like if you grow
That might be
organically,
temporary. That
it's
has
for sure
yes.
permanent.
If you would like to go for a longer run and in a permanent way, you need to go organically, and that is how we are trying for. It's been quite been for a while. So that is a one challenge as of now. I am seeing how we can scale up and how we can increase our profitability. The Frappe came out of that cash flow situation in the recent time. He became a profitable, and now they became a profitable, and now it is a ongoing things. Now they have to think about something else. So now we are struggling with how we can increase our make a better cash flows and how we can scale up on the service front without getting into some other offerings.
It's easy to say that, you're resilient as just when you're just one person. When you're like, you got through this, you got through this, you got through this. But when you're running a company with 75 plus people, what does resilience mean then?
So as I am seeing, as I said, every day it is a day one for me. So different challenges altogether. Every day I see, every day. And keeping calmness, having a patience, and coming out of that situation is make us a very resilient. And it happened, it is not happening for a while, it is happening for years now. So every day there is going to be some new challenge. It is not the repeatable challenges, repeated challenges. It is every day you come across with new challenges altogether, and you have to face that, overcome that, and come out of that. And let's focus on the strategic part. So early, I think initial 5 7 years, we used to spend more time in struggling with these challenges itself rather than focusing on the strategy. Right now, I feel I learned from those. Certain portion of your energy should go in struggling with these challenges, face those, but certain portion you need to keep aside how you are going to grow this organization strategically. So that strategy part, usually I try to keep myself some portion, some percentage of my time and energy on those areas.
Planning, yeah.
And planning and working out something which might be new, which might be something extraordinary, but out of the box we try to get into such kind of. It might be most of the time I think I am wasting my time, but I know ki one fine day I am going to get something out of it. It might be a failure, but I am going to learn something out of it.
Yeah, like 10 conversations, 10 ideas. One of them is going to convert to something really
Might
cool.
be.
Yeah.
Correct. So that is how going on.
And if someone from your team also comes to you with that they're facing these same kind of problems, what do you tell them?
So every teammates come up with their own challenges. In some cases, they comes up with their personal problems, then some family problems, some salary related issues, or they need some help in the work from home. They want some flexibility in traveling. So we try to put ourselves into their shoes and see, is it really a need? Can we do something for them? And I think we work out some arrangements for them, and that is how we feel it is becoming a family now. So we don't get into a very harsh on the policy part, though there has to be some policy because it is an organization. We have to, I mean to say, we have to drive, or rather we have to live with that family. So there are going to be different kinds of problems, but once we get into their shoes, we know there are certain ways where we can help them and keep aside the policy part, but make some support to them.
Yeah.
And it becomes a family now.
Yeah, if you treat it like mutual respect, and you can always come to a solution that's okay for both people.
Correct. And that is what happened with our family, with our teammates.
Yeah. And you've always said also, and I think you mentioned earlier in our conversation, that your team is your biggest asset. Like you have no other proper permanent asset other than your team.
Correct. Team is the only asset. Yes, that is what I have learned and I have earned in these last 16 years.
What is the one thing your team is really good at doing?
Irrespective of whether I am a boss, I am a owner, I don't get a feeling that I am a owner, I am a boss. Usually I get a self-respect. I respect them and they respect me. Irrespective of what kind of quality, what kind of capabilities does that guy have. But the kind of respect we all give to each other is one of the important factor of our culture, of our organization. And we trust each other. So we never thought of that whether is there going to be a challenge that someone is going to take some source code and use it, or whether they are going to use some reuse or misuse some confidential information. We never thought of that. We never bothered about that. So it is like equal for every members. We trust each other. So I think these are the couple of values we feel is really driving us and keeping us together.
So you have like ownership, responsibility, and complete trust on like everybody.
Yeah.
which is I think super great, and it's the right way to go about it. If you have people you can really trust on your team.
So if you are going to lead an organization, or rather if you'd like to really grow your organization, then you need to really don't think about this part. If you're really thinking about this trust and loyalty part, then I think you're not in the right path. There is something wrong in your direction. So we don't have to bother about these factors. These are our core values. I think we are living with it, irrespective of whether we don't have to tell them people ki this is how our values are or how we should follow that. We don't need to tell them. It is a part of our culture itself.
You
It is
just
a
have the
part of
right
our
people.
DNA itself.
And how do you put a difference between like managing and empowering?
You know how manager works, you know how leaders works, and how you know how mentors work. So mentorship, mentors, this is what I learned from the early days when there was someone who is mentoring me. So in our current organization, we don't act like a managers. We don't hire managers. Though for the namesake, there is a designation called as project managers or project coordinators. But those are not the managers. They are the leaders. So we promote in our organization a culture that we have to become a leader. And while to become a leader, first you need to act like a mentor. First become a mentor. Uh, Guide him. Don't spoon feed him. Guide him, respect him, and give whatever teaching you would like to give or whatever training you would like to give. And one fine day, you need to act like a leader. You don't become a manager. So even I am not a manager. So I feel I am a leader. I try to become a leader. But in the initial days, we used to act as a mentors for our teammates. Now I feel someone has to lead the show. Someone has to lead the boat, and that is what we are doing. Now I am expecting other than me, other than Gupteshwar, there has to be another set of team members who should drive their respective departments. So in the recent time, I think a couple of 2 years back, I think we form a team of elite. We call it as a core team. Those are now the leaders who are driving their departments. So who are leading from the front, and they are setting up the strategies, they are setting up the goals for the respective departments, and accordingly the team mates of that respective departments are contributing and helping the leaders to drive it systematically.
Yeah, like even though we prefer not to have hierarchies, we need some structure to drive the organization, right? Somebody needs to make the decision at one point.
Correct. So that is how we are doing. So there is no very permanent hierarchy per se, but in the organization usually there is need of some hierarchy, so that we do. But it is a very lean structure we are following, and everyone can reach out to anyone. There is no approvals, and such things are required. And the person who is leading it usually takes a decision, usually decide what could be the strategy, and success and failures are part of
and it's full
his game.
ownership. Like you
Full ownership,
pick up a project, you take a decision. It works out sometime. Most of the time, doesn't work out sometimes.
That's fine. So we are there anyway. We are backing you. If there is a failure, that's fine. But we are there. But you take a decision, you lead it, and if there is a failure, we are there to support you.
A lot of our conversation has been about resilience. And what will you tell someone who is still in like survival mode right now, or who's come back to that zero that you faced 2-3 times?
So one thing that I would like to tell to the budding entrepreneurs or those who would like to start, you need to have a patience. See, you will not get a success in a one go itself, in initial step itself. There is a possibility, it might happen that you might fall down for a couple of times. So don't leave and go out of this. Keep patience. If your intents are clear, if you are very positive, there is a possibility that you will reach out to that goal wherever you would like to. Usually in current generation, or rather current trend, what is happening, we are very impatient. If we are if we are failing, I think once or twice we come out of that and we change our path altogether. I think there is a need of some consistency, and consistency gives the result that we have seen. I have personally seen that if there is a consistency, then you will get the result. It might take some time, more time rather, but you will get the result. So that consistency is required, and you have to be very patient. You will get the
and I
result for
completely
sure.
agree. It's like completely logical for consistency to be the key. But I think the fear of failure has become so much bigger than that right now.
Yeah, and usually people don't want to do the hard work. They feel there is some alternate
Shortcut. Yeah.
and many people say that there is no option to the hard work. You can't you will get the results by doing a shortcut, might be a once, but that is not a right way.
But you've seen things happen in shortcut, like
For an
especially
instant you might be,
yeah.
for some instant you might be, but that is again a temporary, as I
But
said.
it's also a little bit of luck,
Little
very
bit of luck.
random luck. Yeah.
So of course I don't want to get into that part. Luck, of course it matters a lot, but you can't get rid of hard work and expect the results.
Yeah, I like how you're like, luck and all is not in my, I can't decide what happens with luck.
It is not
Yeah.
in my control. If it is going to happen, let it happen, but let me continue with my hard work.
Which is, I think, a very neutral way of seeing it, because you can't rely on anything else except what you're doing for yourself.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's pretty cool. I remember like us talking 4 or 5 years ago. Now 5 years ago, I think in 2021, when I was writing that blog. I remember thinking, he's really driven about everything. And I still feel the same. And it's so cool to hear the whole story again and know that nothing has changed and the resilience part is still there.
That was very a different experience altogether when we had a first interaction 5 years back, I think. So that was the kind of you make us interactive. That is your quality, that is your skill, and I think you tried to write down our story in a very systematic format. So yes, we are meeting again after 5 years.
Yeah,
it is
it's
a
pretty
good experience
cool.
for all.
Yeah, and like when I saw your Trappers, I was like, I know him. I should. Yeah, it was pretty fun, and I remember. And honestly, that story was not that great also. But I think it was about your journey from being a bronze partner to silver to gold. But now I know that you were like the original partner, original Frappe partner.
Yes.
So it's fun.
So we are the early bird. We became a first gold partner in India, and as of now we are maintaining it. Let's see how it goes
course, yeah.
once there is a PMM5 coming into a picture. But I think we are very well prepared for it, and we will retain that tag.
And you
And
must feel proud also, right?
Yeah. Of course, we feel proud.
Like you must think back and feel that this is how far we've come.
Yeah, and now people crave to become a gold partner, right? And they struggle a lot. So I think we became that, and I think the kind of hard work we did that time, I think the result we got in terms of that.
And I have one last question for you. What is that one thing that excites you about Indictrans' future the most?
Again, as I said, my team, my asset. I think if they are going to be with me the way they are with me currently, I think we will reach out to heights for sure. And we are very positive about that.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Foram. Thanks for inviting me.
No, I'm glad.
I'm
Yeah.
loving this platform. I think let's see how it goes. But I'm very much very curious to see the kind of episode you release every. I think you release it in 7-10 days.
Every 2 weeks.
Every
yeah.
2 weeks. So it's really interesting to, and that idea itself to start a podcast itself is a very different thing. I never thought that Frappe is going to start such kind of thing, but it's a really interesting part.
Yeah, no, I'm also very happy and lucky that I get to do this. But thank you so
Yes.
much for being on here. I hope you had fun.
Yes,
And,
I had.
yeah.
So it's very good. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.